It is I, vkjehannum, and the V stands for Vidian. So I was guided to do a couple rituals to Choronzon and Chagall. So who are those? I'm sure you're familiar with the concept of crossing the abyss, right? The abyss in Hebrew is called Daath. Choronzon and Chagall, two demons who have a hive mind together, are the ones who rule the abyss. In Hebrew gematria, or numerology, the names Choronzon and Chagall both have a value of 333. I don't think I need to tell you what 333 plus 333 is. So, I've already crossed the abyss twice. And in these two rituals, I was meant to go even further into the abyss than simply crossing it. The first ritual led to me performing an invocation of Chagall. That invocation wound up being the most feral, frenzied possession I ever experienced. I really liked it, but it was much more short-lived than I was expecting, and it ended very abruptly. After the rite finished, I decided to go drink some beer, call it a day. But in the next few hours, I began to feel like I was going insane almost. Maybe I shouldn't have consumed alcohol while under the energy. Maybe that was going to happen either way. I don't know. But I did the same thing I did when I crossed the abyss both times. I drew the sigils of the spirits Lulua and Nabirius on a piece of paper, folded it up, and shoved it in my pocket. One, or especially both of those sigils, is enough to stabilize you, and I felt calm again. After doing this, I asked one of the spirits present, hey, did I just cross the abyss a third time? They responded with, "You did more than cross it this time." Now admit, crossing the abyss is really fucking intense, so I did not like the sound of that. So, time passed and I was guided to do a ritual to Choronzon, one where I call on him to purge me of weakness. Now, this, of course, I was going to be purged with the power of Daath, the abyss. I performed the ritual and let myself have a series of visions. I start off in a desert. I can see a pyramid in the distance and a pair of sphinxes. The sphinxes both breathe fire and light me aflame. Then chains attach themselves to my body and rip me apart and then reassemble me in the form of some kind of a lizard. From there, I enter a portal, and I'm floating through this sort of amorphous realm, populated by these beings with the heads of frogs and humanoid bodies composed of shadow. I go through another portal, and I'm in a desert again, once again with pyramids. But this one looked a lot more otherworldly rather than looking like a regular desert. So time passes, and I give, the process time to take effect. And throughout these time period, I made a series of changes to my life that have been proven to be very beneficial. I'll keep that confidential. But then I had a dream connected to the experience, and I'll tell you all about it right after a message from our sponsor. All right, I'm here to talk to you about Otter Spirit. Otter Spirit is a company that releases crystal jewelry for spiritual purposes, but there's something that sets it apart from other brands of the same nature. To be specific, that would be its use of AA and AAA grade crystals. AAA grade crystals are the highest quality there is, and even AA is exceptionally rare. In other words, these are the highest quality crystal bracelets I have ever owned. And that, my friend, is saying a lot. They told me I could choose any bracelet collection I wanted so I could look at the brand for myself. I chose their Halloween pack. I'm 5'7" and 140 pounds, so their medium size fits me perfectly. Obviously, there are other collections you can choose from. They have different crystal bracelet collections for different zodiac signs. Obviously, you can buy crystal bracelets individually, and they do offer necklaces as well. It's extremely rare for an established metaphysical company to select a satanic creator as a partner. I never thought I would see the day, so I'm really appreciative. So, if you use my code VIDIAN35, that's my username, followed by 35, you can get 35% off any purchase over $99. And I get a 15% commission from your purchase. If you like, you can use the hyperlink in the description instead of using the code. Either way, same deal. And this deal is valid through all of November. It's the best deal of the year. Stock up for Christmas gifts that carry intention and energy. And we are back. I'm going to tell you about the dream that seemed to either indicate the end of this initiatory process, the conclusion, the completion, or what I'm supposed to do afterwards. I think both. So, in the dream, I go to this establishment. It has a pretty nice restaurant. I enjoy that, eat my fill. And then I go down to the exhibit that the establishment is known for. In the exhibit, you interact with a physical replica of yourself that seems to have split personalities. So I, swiped my card to pay for the experience. And soon enough, I'm interacting with this replica of myself. After a while, I hear a voice say, "This next segment may be disturbing for some participants." And then that replica's face starts to rip off, and it's gory and gross, right? And beneath it is a robot. The replica, which no longer really looks like me, begins to speak in a robotic voice rather than in an imitation of my voice. And it says, "I am going to attack you. You have to defend yourself. If you fail to do so, the next part of this exhibit is shooting." I'm like, okay, that's not good. So it throws a couple punches and a kick at me. It didn't throw particularly hard or fast punches and kicks. It seemed like it wasn't really trying to hurt me. It was just trying to test me. So I fight back, and I am deemed to have passed the test. Afterwards, the robot says, "Good job. Now I'm going to share with you a sort of awakening." This little tube comes out of it. It says, "You put this in your mouth and it will administer a mild anesthetic." And it said very few people get to experience this. So I let the anesthetic kick in, and on this projector behind the robot, I see this really weird footage, kind of disturbing footage, of my body basically being, I suppose, reassembled from scratch. The robot tells me I did this same awakening for my own son once. It then said, "I wish I could interact with you physically, but you just made me rich." And then it hands me my receipt. And I look at the receipt, and I see that I spent $240.16. I wake up. The next day, I look at my TikTok to see how well my platform is growing. And I see that I have 24,024 followers. I'm like, oh, that's a reminder to look into the numerology present in that dream. So the price was $240.16. I whipped out my Gematria dictionary. I couldn't find anything particularly relevant seeming for the number 16, but then I realized something. The 11 Lords of the Qliphoth, plus Choronzon and Chagall, plus the demonic gods of the 3 transglyphothic veils, that's 16. But what was 240? I looked it up, and it turned out to be the numerical value of a concept that my audience has repeatedly asked about. A concept that I've refused to pay any mind to. Until now, I suppose. 240 is the numerical value of Amalek. Anyways, that's all for now. Have a great night and enjoy your immortality. Check out the link tree in the description below if you want a little more VK in your life.